Today I'm going to be doing a video on Magic the Gathering deck, Mono White Humans. Really good deck. My main deck for running in tournaments, Friday night Magic. So I mean, I'll usually switch it up at FNMs, but for tournaments, any serious events, this is a deck I use because it's dominant. I mean, and not a lot of people use it. It's not like running Delver Spirits. Everyone has a counter to it. Everyone has stuff on their sideboard for it. This is a really, not a lot of people use it. It's a sneaky deck, sneak in there. So, let's start off with tech. 22 planes. 22. Talk a little about this because I mean, the deck runs on 1 to 3 mana. That's it. There's 4 cards over 3 mana. So yeah, 22 is fine. Some people say, run 20 if you only have 1 to 3 mana drops. You definitely have enough mana. That's true, but with 20 mana, anything lower than 22 mana, in my opinion, that's when you start having to mull hands for mana, and I don't want to ever have to mull a hand for mana because then I can mull down. I want to always keep my 7 card hand. So yeah, 22 land is good. Just because you always want to keep that first hand. And if I have 2 land in my hand, I'm keeping it. So that's that. For the creatures in the deck, which is pretty much the deck, I'm not gonna lie. 4 champion of parish because if you're running humans, you're running parish because parish is humans. So that's that. Next up, 2 Elite Inquisitors. The reason for 2 is, I mean, this is a very aggressive deck, as you'll see when I get to the later cards. And Elite Inquisitor is a really good card, don't get me wrong, just not a really good aggressive card, and there's better 2-drops for this deck than Elite Inquisitor. That's what I'm running to. Next up, 4 Accorder Paladin. This is probably the best aggressive 2-drop for mono white humans, in my opinion, because 3/1 Battle Cry. And as you can see later, as I get further into the deck, Battle Cry gets ridiculous, especially with double strike guys. I have a lot of double strike in this deck, so Battle Cry is just so good with double strike because if you're doing straight damage to them, which my enchantments allow me to do, makes my stuff unblockable. If you're doing straight damage to them, and you have that 2 more damage for the Battle Cry. So he's also a good pair for Silverblade because 3, and then you double strike the 3, it's 6 damage. So yeah. Next up, one more 2-drop. 2. Thalia's, just because this deck is all creatures. People say put them in the sideboard, but if they're running an all creatures deck, well, the majority of the decks that I play around my area are Delvers, and it's annoying, and this shuts it down. These 2 cards shut it down. And it always puts me in advantage because I have all creatures and 12 enchantments. There's only 12 enchantments in this deck, and the rest are creatures. So pretty much anytime I have this out against pretty much any deck, it's an advantage for me. But there might be 1 or 2 like werewolves or something that have more creatures than me, or vampires, but that's about it. Now on to the double strike. The 3-drops. Oh, it's ridiculous. This guy, one of the staples of the deck, just because you're getting the Battle Cries onto him, and he has protection from freaking black and green. He's an amazing card. 3 mana, 2/2 double strike, pro black, pro green. So they're not gonna get a kill spell on him, which is awesome. So I wish it was pro black, pro red, but it's whatever. Next, another 3-drop for Accorder Paladin. This guy, I was so glad. I had this deck before Avacyn, so I was so glad when he came out in Avacyn. You pair him with Champion of Parish. It's just ridiculous. You get turn 4 wins all day with this guy, you know, because you're pairing him with a 5/5 parish. The parish has double strike, so he's going in for 10 damage. And as you'll see later with my enchantments, he's going to be unblockable. So it's ridiculous. Next up, for Fiend Hunter for removal. I mean, that's basic. I prefer this over an O-Ring. Not everyone does, but I definitely do, because it gets you a 1/3 body, and it powers up the parish. So yeah, and when the parish has double strike, powering him up is a very good thing. You know what I mean? When he's paired with Silverblade. Next up, 2 heroes. This card gets ridiculous. Now let me show you why I have the Accorders. I have 2 cards out on the field. Just 2 cards out. And I swing with both. Get the 2 tokens from Accorder. Right? I'm swinging 4, 8, 6, 14 damage. With 2 cards, I'm swinging for 14 damage. And everyone says, well, you know, any creature-based deck, and it is a problem with most creature-based decks, is board wipes. As you can see here, if they turn 5 board wipe me, I'd come back from that pretty fast on turn 6. Turn 5 they board wipe. Turn 6 I lay these 2 down. Not much I can do. 14 damage the turn after a board wipe. I don't think any deck builds their field back faster from a board wipe than that. I mean, there's not much they can do. So at that point, board wiping is a bad thing for them because they're losing their creatures, and I can, you know, get right back out. Next up, 5 drops, 2 Angelics. Card's amazing. I don't think you can see it there. Hexproof, indestructible, as long as you control human. So, yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, that wins a lot of games. I'm not gonna lie. Now onto the enchantments, which pretty much run this deck. O-rings, standard. They usually get sided out. It's whatever. Next, for Honor of the Pure, basic, you know, in any white deck, it's ridiculous, especially with the double strike, you know. You're getting +2 instead of +1, like I said again. Yeah, it just gets ridiculous. Next up, the last card in the deck, which makes the deck. I'm not gonna lie, this card makes the deck. It's Spirit Mantle. Now, a lot of people, you know, even when I'm playing this at tournaments, Friday Night Magic, they don't even know they have to read the card. They don't even know what it does. They just see, oh, it's that card from M12, crappy, janky enchantment. So, you might not know what it does. +1/+1, protection from creatures. Yeah, it does that. It's ridiculous. This is why I'm talking about the double strike. Let me give you a scenario. Check it. Got a Silverblade out. Alright. Turn 1, I play a parish. Turn 2, Accorder. Parish is a 2/2. Turn 3, Silverblade. Turn 4, Spirit Mantle. And, let me think. Honor. Parish now is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/5. Double strike unblockable. Yeah. I mean, if I'm not killing you by turn 4, and look, if you're swinging with him, that's 12 unblockable. And at this point, I'd kill him on turn 4, because if they didn't block the first 2 attacks, you'd be dead on turn 4. So yeah, it's ridiculous. Like I said, no, there's other decks that can be pretty aggressive, maybe more than this deck, but this deck is one of the most that I've seen at just getting out the early damage, and you get that initial 12 damage by turn 4. That's what you want to do, and maybe they clear your board, maybe they do something, but now I only need to do 8 more damage, and with this deck I can do 8 damage, because all I need to do is, I already have the honor out, play a, a Mirran, and Spirit Mantle. There's the 8 damage right there. That's all I need to do. At one point in the game, get the extra 8 damage out and finish them off. So it's like I said, you gotta get the initial push in the early game. Usually it's gonna kill them, but if it doesn't, you sit back until you get this combo or some kind of combo. You build up your field until you draw Spirit Mantle, and then swing in. That's all there is to it. Like I said, it's a really strong field deck. Your parishes get huge. You get the Angelics out. You have Hexproof, and you're swinging with Hero of Bladehold. You're getting the tokens. It just gets massive. And the only problem with huge field decks is if you overextend and get board wipe. But like I said, you can build right back from it easily. Spirit Mantle, swing in for the extra damage, and finish them off. It's like this is almost like a creature burn deck, because you have to kill them fast. Your objective is just to do straight damage to them with Spirit Mantle, or whether it be Spirit Mantle, or whether it be they don't have enough blockers to keep up with the huge creature base in the deck. So yeah. If you're interested in trying to build this, I'll probably leave a whole list in the description, so you don't have to watch the video 10 times. Oh, and yeah, the sideboard. Very basic, 4 Celestial Purges. 3 swords, or 3 revokes to get rid of the Swords of One Piece, because they destroy this deck. Not gonna lie. 2 more Inquisitors for the zombie, werewolf, and vampire matchup. Angelic Overseer for the zombie matchup, because a lot of people at my Friday Night Magic run zombies for whatever reason, and discard destroy zombies, and it's disgusting. because I'm bringing cards back, and I'm pairing, and I'm bringing Fiend Hunter back and exiling their stuff with their ability. It's ridiculous. Next, I just put this in here because there's this asshole who's running a Lost in the Woods deck at my Friday Night Magic. Stony Silence for Ratchet Bombs, because Ratchet Bomb's okay. This deck runs once again on 1-3 mana, so Ratchet Bombs can be a problem. But luckily we have the Revokes and the Stony Silence to neutralize that, and neutralize Swords somewhat. Swords is still a huge problem even with 3 Revokes. I mean, you're drawing 3 Revokes to their 3 Swords basically, so whoever gets the one first is, the winner of the matchup, or has the advantage of the matchup. And then the rest are just board wipes. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah. Like I said, deck list will be in the description if you want to make this deck, because it's a really nice deck, and it's not your freaking generic Delver Spirits or your generic red-white aggressive humans. Red-white humans is so annoying. Everyone's like, well, Lightning Mauler, and you can use Burn. No. Trust me on it. Build mono-white humans if you're gonna build humans, and blue-white humans don't even go near that, please. That's just about it. Thanks for watching.